Hey everybody, I just thought I'd come by and say hi because, hey, what else can we have to do now? It's Tuesday, we're all shut in, figuring out what's going on, and we're having up days and down days. So, one thing I've noticed is with myself, I've been having fog. Okay. And so I was talking fog, meaning brain fog. I don't even know what to do. My whole life, like your life, is completely different than it was before. And I've been used to working remotely, but all of a sudden I've lost focus. And one thing I want to talk about right now, and by the way, I have a great thing coming up next week. I have a really good friend, Dr. George Roth, who invented matrix repatterning, which is a energetic brain system. If any of you've ever read the book, The Brain That Changes Itself, they talk about Dr. George Roth in Appendix B of this book about how you can rewire your brain. So if you ever wanted to know how to rewire your brain, Dr. George Roth is the person that can tell you how to do that. So Dr. Roth and I have been friends for a little over 4 years, and he's helped me a lot. We're in a mastermind together, actually. And we had a chance to reconnect today within a mastermind setting. And we talked afterward. I said, George, I need to get you on to help people with some of the great things that you do to figure out how to get people to heal. He helped me heal in my leg, and he was the person who discovered that I had a traumatic brain injury. I have a traumatic brain injury. I was having some really weird problems, and no, I don't know when I've had it. I don't know where it came from, but I've had this traumatic brain injury, which was causing some problems, including some problems with my body healing after I had my knee injury and knee surgery. So I asked Dr. Roth, George, to come on next week. So stay tuned. I'm going to post about that where you can come and ask him questions because right now there's a lot of information. We're waiting. A lot of us are feeling a lot of fear, not knowing what to do. And there are some answers that could possibly help you that you're not going to see on CNN or Fox or anything that has to do with, CBS, ABC or anything like that. So I want to bring George to you so you have a chance to ask some questions to someone who has helped a lot of people heal in a way that a lot of people think is just impossible, but it is possible. He came up with the system, matrix repatterning, which is an energetic system to help put your energy system back together. You definitely have an energy system that is underlying. I mean, if you think you don't have an energy system, just, what the EKG is, what an EEG is. Those are all energy readings that are in your body. Your whole body has this. And when those get cut off in some way, you don't heal well. And it's interesting because how these get cut off is through little, let's call them micro traumas. So I had a big trauma I didn't even know about, but there are other things that happen to you. You fall down, you hit your head on the cabinet, and you disrupt an organ system, and you don't even know it, but you start having these just weird problems that nobody can answer why you have them because your tests are normal, your x-rays are normal, everything's normal, but there's something that's a little bit off. Or you start getting sick and you can't figure out why you are getting sick and what to do about it. And it can be really, really frustrating. So I've had some adventures like that in my life, like practically almost everybody's had these type of adventures, and which has led me to the path that I am on now. So I have people like Dr. George Roth who I meet in passing, which is not totally in passing, who you connect with. And then they say, I can help you with that. And one day he said, I can help you with that. And I said, yes. And so, that's the interesting part is saying yes to yourself. How many times have you said no? How many times have you met someone who is extraordinarily gifted who you didn't say yes to? And so now is the time to reevaluate about saying yes to yourself. And so I'm going to bring on Dr. Rolf. We'll talk a little bit about him helping me, but also you'll have a chance to ask questions about getting over two big things that are going on right now. Number one is fear, and number two is fog, brain fog. These are problems that we're all experiencing because it's swirling all around. We don't know what to expect yet. We're in obviously, seriously unprecedented times. And how do you decide to shift and move a different way? So I want to talk about that with Dr. Rolf with you. I want to know, post if there's a question that you have or that I can answer for you. What's going on? What are you doing? Is there anything new? What are you discovering? People are all over just yelling at each other. There's the conspiracy theories. I have friends who on one side are like, it's a hoax and it's a conspiracy theory that's going on. And I'm like, okay, you think it's a hoax? How about you go on the front line without any personal protective equipment and let people cough on you and be in their presence? And let's see how hoaxy this is. But on the other side, I know that one of the pieces that's making us all concerned, at least makes me concerned, is I feel like I have no source of really good information. That's one of the things. It's about trust. Right now, I trust me. I trust my dogs. I trust my husband. There's our world of trust has just gotten like so tiny right now. And that's been one of my, who do I trust? And, when I read an article or see a post or whatever's happening, it's like, is that real or is it not real? I tend to live in sometimes alternate realities anyway. Is it real or is it not real that's going on? How do I know? What is that person's agenda? Even, in doctor groups, I'm in different types of doctor groups, and depending on the slant of that doctor group, there's some type of agenda going on always. And so one of the pieces that has been interesting is just, on just social media and what's going on social media, having seen censored social media, realizing that somebody will put some information out there that Facebook decides is not good information because they're all knowing, and it'll get a thing on it, a little censor strap on it, and that's just interesting to me. And then on the other side, seeing friends in my network, real connections who have been struck by this in different parts of the world, watching them, sending energy to them, prayers to them, hoping that they heal, listening to their journey. And then on the other side, all the death that's around. So one of the interesting pieces is, as I've been mentioning, I had this really vivid dream last night. It's interesting. I shared with you that my father died on January 26th, my father died. And there were a lot of people who died around the same time and we were really aware of death. Right now, I'm not sure that so many more people are dying, but we're very aware of death, and death that is the suffering kind of death. And that's, I think, what makes us all fearful is not just the process of death. And of course, in the Western culture, few of us have ever experienced death, witnessed a death. A lot of us, because of our belief systems that we have brought in, we don't know what to expect. Somebody's like texting me. Let me see who's texting me. Okay. So somebody messaging about some webinar or something going on. Because we have this storyline about death and how bad it is, and dying alone or dying in pain or suffering, to hear about people dying in a way where they're alone and possibly in pain and suffering, I think is really just gets to our deepest fears. And so my father came to me in a dream last night, and it was in a way where I can say he kind of fleeted by. It was him, and he fleeted by, but it was clear to me because I don't even remember what was going on in the dream, but there's one piece that I remember where I went into a room which was like a family room, and before I went into this room, my husband and I had bought some stereotype equipment to listen to music, and it was in this room. And then I remember, seeing my father, and I don't remember us saying anything to each other. I just remember seeing the side of his face. And then, how dreams are, it gets kind of fuzzy. Some time went by, and I walk into this room and I see this stereo perfectly put together in front of me. Everything just in perfect order. In silver, and then I could see these pieces sticking out that were like showing how the music was going. And it was obvious to me that my father had put together this stereo set. So most of you don't necessarily know about me or my background or anything else, that when we were young, I took a lot of music lessons, piano for years, played the organ, clarinet, oboe, and my father was a classical music aficionado, loved classical music. I heard it all through my youth, learned to play the piano. I played classical music almost exclusively. And he always had the best stereo equipment that you possibly have, and the music would just be blasting to the point where you could see the speakers. And so how you see those people riding down the street blasting like hip hop or whatever. My father was blasting Johann Sebastian Bach. And so the piece about this is when my father passed through the portal into that other world, it was like, well, did I feel bad about it? Of course, because he's not here. But on the other side, I knew he was okay. And he comes back and gives me messages. So last night was one of the times that he came back to just let me know that he's there, things are okay, by showing up in this particular way. So I don't know if people have been having really vivid and interesting dreams lately. I've been noticing I've been having a lot of those vivid and interesting dreams. What are they? You might want to write them down. Thinking about doing maybe a session where we could get together and talk about some of our dreams and the meanings of some of our dreams, because the meaning of some of my dreams in while I'm sleeping, I know is going to have to do with my dreams coming true in life and what there's going to be, because we are recreating ourselves. Some people are hoping we're going to wake up and this is just going to all go away. It's not going to be like that. It's here. We all have to do this differently now. And so where are you getting your messages on how to do things differently? So again, I podcasted for years and said, everybody now is launching a podcast. I don't want to do that. But I have some interesting friends. And so I asked George, come on with me. We were talking about some other stuff and, our businesses and things that were going on. He teaches people how to do this matrix repatterning to practitioners. And he was inviting me to come to one of his sessions. I was thinking about it, but I was like saying, how do I deliver this virtually now? And so we got into that. But I said, George, you know how to do some of these things. People need some skills right now. Can you come on and just give the audience who wants to tune in some of these skills, but also answer some other questions? I'm a traditionally trained MD. I now have some holistic training, but George's background is as a naturopath and a chiropractor tool degree, but also downloaded this wonderful system called Matrix Reparenting, which has gotten people out of illnesses, kept people from having surgery, including hip replacements and knee replacements, from some fantastic stuff. When I met George Rolfe, I had a limp. I had this big knee injury. I couldn't figure out how to get out of pain and get rid of my limp. And George Rolfe, I will credit with basically putting my body back together in a few sessions so that my limp went away. Almost immediately after the first session, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. How come people don't know about this? So, and when I meet some of my clients and they have some issues, I'm like, you know what, if you are thinking about that, you want to figure out an answer for what you have, read this book, know this person, consider going to visit this practitioner, because there are skills that are there that are not widely known or talked about, that you can harness to be able to make your body do what it's meant to do, and that's heal. And when you heal your body, it's not just about physical, it's about emotional and spiritual too. So getting rid of emotional and spiritual blocks allows your body to heal. And this is so important now, because you need to have physical resilience in this time. You're going to need to have physical resilience for at least the next 18 months to 2 years, at least. And so if you have spiritual and emotional blocks, you're not going to be able to have physical resilience. Dr. Valerie Hunt, PhD out of UCLA, showed that we have illnesses and injuries in our auras outside of our body before it manifests in the body. And so what do you do about that? How do you get rid of that? How do you work with it once it's in your body? And it's not just about the diet. It's not just about what supplement you take, what herb, what botanical, what homeopathic. There's also other tools that you can use to be able to reinvent almost new connections so that you can leap forward. So now, okay, I don't have my plug for my computer. And I'm getting your computer is less plugged into the ballot, will go to sleep. Your Mac will sleep soon. So my Mac is about to sleep. So I'm going to have to log off. But next week on Tuesday, 4:00, I'll put something out there so people can sign up. I'll send it. If you're on my list, you can sign up on my list. But I'll put something out so that you have a chance to ask this brilliant man who helped me a lot and is just like wonderful and a genius and all that. Besides being a genius, he's wonderful. And that's how I met him first, because he was a nice guy. And then I found out, what he has created to help a lot of people. So the first is, when you're going to doctors and other types of practitioners, do you like them? If you don't like them, stay the hell away. I meet so many people that they don't like their doctors. And if you don't like your doctor, find another one. Find another one, please. Okay, so that's all for today. I just wanted to say hi this week. And, what else is going on? Send me a note, Veronica at drveronica.com. You can send me a note. You can post on the wall and ask me questions, and at least say, hi, how are you? And next week, join in to a conversation where you can help figure out and remold, reframe some of the stuff that might be going on in your head. These are new times, new days. You're watching the confusion that's going on, and you need to get clear in your mind. So how do you get clear in your mind in a time where everything is confused? And that is that you surround yourself with people who have integrity and will give you the best information they have at the time. And that's not a lot of people right now. And also people that are not running around trying to make you do things a particular way or believe things a certain way. You're brilliant yourself, so you need some information to help you process what is the right answer for you. Because guess what? The right answer for me is not necessarily the right answer for you. And that includes in the body. When you decide how you're going to manage what's going on now, the right answer for you, you have to have a strategy for coming up with that. So I'm going to bring some people to you to help you to begin to develop your strategy to be able to go forward, because you have to depend on you. I think what we've all learned from this time is that we can't depend on anybody outside of ourselves. You got to depend on you. And if you don't have clarity on how to depend on you, then you need to get some. And so I want to bring people to you to help you get some clarity right now. And so next Tuesday around 4:00, about 1 week from now, I bring to you Dr. George Roth. I'm also going to be, I think on Thursday, I'm going to be with my friend Shauna again in front of her audience. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that are going on that you can do to keep yourself strong. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually during these times. But I'm going to give you some real information based on some of the brilliant people that I hang around that you can know to go do that just is not getting out there. So I'll see you guys soon.